I'm Insomniac, and this is Starbucks Breakfast Blend.
Insomniac.
Okay, Starbucks Breakfast Blend is what we're looking at today, and before everybody loses their mind completely because they see a drip coffee maker here, I did not buy this coffee. It was sent in, and it was sent in ground. And the grind size of this particular coffee in this bag can't really do anything else with it. So it has to go in the drip maker. So before everybody jumps into comments after this review, if this turns out not to be as magical and spectacular as you Starbucks fans thought it was, and you start going on and on about, oh, it's better if it's whole bean and that's not how you do coffee, and I didn't buy this coffee. I don't buy the coffees that get reviewed on this channel. That was all a long version of, I didn't buy it, it's ground, it's going in the drip maker. Sorry ahead of time. Anyway, let's take a quick look at the packaging here. I'll show it to you on this other screen. Okay, Starbucks Breakfast Blend. Here's the bag. Most of you have seen this packaging already. Anybody who's been in a Starbucks has seen Breakfast Blend. It's not like it's one of their reserve coffees or something. It's pretty easy to find. You can get it literally at Target or any supermarket. It's medium roast. It says bright and tangy on the bag, 100% Arabica coffee. If there's anything else interesting to share with you here before we actually get this going, it is worth noting that on the bag where it shows the roast scale, this is medium, but it shows medium almost all the way down by blonde. So this is actually closer to a light roast, I'd say. There's a little blurb about it on the bag here. It says, we introduced this blend in 1998 for those who prefer a milder cup. A shade lighter than most of our offerings, more tasty than roasty. It was a result of playing with roast and taste profile together to create a flavor that appealed to a wider range of palates. Perfect if you want to wake up to a less intense coffee but still want a lot of character. It's lively with a citrusy tang that gives way to a clean finish. Whatever. Alright, well, let's see what this coffee smells like. Well, that's certainly not what I expected when I put my nose in a bag of coffee. It's definitely coffee in there. It smells like a bag of Sour Patch Kids. It literally has the same sweet and tangy, sour, gummy, candy-like aroma. Second aroma is pretty out there as well, not as strange as Sour Patch Kids, but it kind of reminds me of glazed donuts. Has a very nice sweet, doughy aroma. And the last aroma I get is orange juice. Not citrus, I'm not talking about like just oranges or something, I'm talking about orange juice. It smells like liquid form, concentrate, probably some sugar added orange juice. Well, I'll tell you what, if it tastes like those three things, I'd actually probably love this coffee, being that I have a bit of a sweet tooth. But yeah, so that's friggin' interesting. Let's brew it up in the drip maker that you all hate, again because it was sent in ground, and let's see what it smells and tastes like in liquid form. Alright, so we got some of this brewed up. Let's see if it smells like a bag of candy in a donut shop and whatever else I got before. Alright, well, it still has a lot of sweetness, but now it smells a lot more like coffee. First thing I get are honey roasted nuts, specifically cashew. Kind of has a honey roasted cashew aroma. It's a bit of sweet caramel in there. And then some orange peel, as opposed to orange juice, which was pretty interesting. So like I said, still very sweet, and now the brewed aromas are along the same lines of the aromas that I got out of the bag, except now it smells a lot more like coffee now that it's actually brewed up. Alright, let's see what it tastes like. I guess some kind of toasty, woody flavor first. What kind of wood? I don't know. Not completely sure what kind of wood, but definitely some kind of toasty, nice, woody flavor. One of the biggest parts of the flavor profile for me here is actually a mix of light earth and raw almond. And the almond really sticks with you on the palate. Not in a bad way, but it's definitely the flavor that lasts the longest in my mouth after the sip. Speaking of the sip, towards the tail end of the sip, you get a little bit of citrus. Bodies, I'd say maybe a 6 out of 10, which isn't bad, but really not super full or strong in terms of the flavors. It does have a nice, smooth, fairly quick finish though, with almost no bitterness whatsoever. And in fact, the only part of the finish that does kind of drag out is that one flavor, which is the raw almond, which again isn't a bad flavor. It's not like it's harsh or bitter or something like that. But otherwise, you take a sip and you kind of just have a quick, clean resolve after that. Okay, so Starbucks breakfast blend, how would I rate it? Well, let's put it like this. If it had more body, and I understand that that's not the point of this coffee, it specifically tells you that it's on the lighter side of medium. It's supposed to be light and easy for a different type of palate, for people who really don't like giant kick in the nuts, really strong coffee, stuff like that. But for me, maybe it's just because of all the different coffees that I drink all the time that have quite a bit more body, and I'm used to that. It leaves a bit to be desired, because it's not thin like watery. There's no mistake when you're drinking it that it's coffee and that it's fairly good coffee, but I could definitely use a little bit more body. Otherwise though, it's a pretty enjoyable roast. Nothing here that's going to blow you away, not overly complex. Outside of the bag aromas, nothing that's insanely unique, but definitely not bad. In fact, I would call this basically a neutral coffee, which is I think what they were going for, but what I mean by a neutral coffee is if you're either A, not a coffee snob, or B, you're just somebody who likes something that's middle of the road and isn't going to rattle the cage, this is a good coffee, I think, for a coffee drinker like that, because it has some good flavors, it has great aromas, it's definitely not too strong on the palate, and you can enjoy it. And like I said somewhere in this review, you can literally get Starbucks breakfast blend basically anywhere. The grocery store, Target has it, probably Walmart, everybody has this coffee at this point, so it's something you could easily find. I would recommend getting whole bean and using a grinder. Alright, well I'm going to get back to the coffee. Patreon, link at the top of the video description. 1 week early access to all these coffee reviews and videos and stuff like that, and some other rewards. Alright, see you at the next one.